Cue the music, let's go. I'm your boy Ro, OG member of the Orange Bowl Boys, and welcome to a not-so-successful edition of Student of the Game, one in which your Miami Hurricanes would be eventual losers in overtime, 26-20, at the hands of the SMU Mustangs in Dallas. So over to the film, shall we? University of Miami come out in a 3-by-1 look, 11 set personnel. Now, it's this same look, 3-by-1, and the concept's really similar to fast forward at the end of the game when Carson Beck throws his interception. So kind of remember that as a backdrop. But here, a little creative element to it. 11 set personnel, but here's your one running back and here's your one tight end. However, there's a difference back here in the backfield. Well, that would be Malachi Toney. So what is the concept? At the top of the screen, you're going to have a Z out. He's going to go in, kind of go out. You have a dig behind that, and then you have somebody else kind of going vertical. So this is what happens. Easy read, pitch, and catch for Carson Beck. You see him immediately looking at the linebacker. This is his read. He sees a lot of space. So what is he going to do? Well, that's the mismatch, right? So you got Malachi Toney one-on-one with a linebacker. That's exactly how you need to go ahead and draw it up. So just sits. He takes care of the rest and gets a first down. So creative, putting your best playmaker in the backfield as a running back, and we're off and running. Superior made plays do great. That's the acronym we use at Student of the Game to constitute a bag play. And early on in this game, Rhett Lashley's in his bag. Now, this play should be very familiar to Miami Hurricane fans, one in which quarterback kind of like fakes the quarterback run, pulls back, and hits something streaking down the sideline. Yeah, we've seen that play a time or two. But I like the way Rhett Lashley gets to it this time. He's going to go ahead, use some tempo, of course. But now you have three wide receivers tucked out here to the field side. And it's garnering attention to the University of Miami defense. You see them here, and you also see a safety. He's kind of paying attention to that as a backdrop, okay? But that's not really the design and the intent of the play. Where it hits is here because you're going to have an H-back going vertical down the middle of the field, and then you have your running back streaking down the sideline, and you're trying to get isolated on linebackers, and that's exactly what happens here. So you're going to see the snap of the ball. Quarterback's going to go ahead, take a step forward, and that's going to garner even more attention by the linebackers because they have to respect the run element first before dropping into their pass element. And next thing you know, when he's even, he's leaving. So good anticipation, good ball. Not bad coverage whatsoever. And there you go. So let's hit our checklist. Was there a shift on it? No, definitely a motion on it. Okay. Personnel was 11 set, but then the design of it, very good design. And then the gadget, well, when you do that quarterback fake run, pull back and throw it on the backdrop of tempo, yeah, that was a bag play. Rhett Lashley wins on that one. This play is going to be a backdrop for later, but make no bones about it. On this 3rd and 1, Miami is going to convert. But we're running the football, folks, because University of Miami come out in 12 set personnel. Sure, here's one running back, here's two tight ends, but it's jumbo. You're going to insert two offensive linemen here. So 7 offensive linemen, 2 tight ends, 1 running back. Carson Beck under center. So, obviously, 2 pass catchers are off the field when you insert 2 other offensive linemen. You have the 2 tight ends and running back as your only available pass-catching options, realistic ones at that. And University of Miami, well, they get stopped initially at the point of attack because this linebacker just focus on him. He's just going to go ahead, come in through the A-gap right there, no hats on him, makes the initial contact, and University of Miami does a good job right there to go ahead and push the pile forward. So, loose side of the A-gap there. Mike linebacker shoots right there. It's an execution-based play. We lose it initially. We get it later. I think we missed the read at the quarterback position on this one. Miami just motioned out into a 3-by-1 look. They're running an all-vertical concept. They do have a tight end who's sticking into the flat as an ancillary check down. But when you have a single high safety over the middle of the field and you're running an all-vertical concept, okay, as a quarterback, I'm going to focus on that single high safety set, but I want to focus your attention also here to Malachi Toney because this is where I think that we miss it. He's going vertical up the field, so let's pay attention. We're going to snap the ball, and right now, I mean, it is open. That's what a seam route is supposed to do. I know the Student of the Game banner is hiding some things, so I'll narrate. He's wide open. There is a DB1 who's over the top who has the ability to jump over, but he's not in a prime position right now, and the single high safety is still in the middle of the field. We don't take that. However, some positive yardage. Carson Beck's just going to run, get about 5 yards. But again, I think we missed that read. Now, he doesn't miss this read. Ace gun 2-by-2 look, a switch release, all vertical concept. Man, Mark Richt must be proud. You know how many times I saw Mark Richt call this and Nkosi Perry would throw this ball? You're going back a little bit. But here you go, ace gun. And if you're going to catch somebody with all vertical switch release, You want to catch them in man coverage, and you want to catch them in man one. And this is exactly what we catch them in. And remember the last clip I said, hey, when you're doing an all vertical concept, you want to try to find that safety as soon as possible. So here's the middle, single high safety in the middle of the field. And now look at Carson Beck's head, okay? As soon as he snaps the ball, he's looking basically to the field side, subtle shoulder warfare. He's still looking. He just moved that safety right out of the way. Now the switch vertical is coming back on the other side of the field. He knows that's exactly where his ball was going, got his safety out of the way. JoJo Trader with the catch. Just going to go ahead and continue to move forward. And you know what's going to happen. Bang. All verticals, move the single high safety, take the seam ball. You can't have this happen. The interception grade is going to be green. This is not on the backs of the quarterback. And the elephant in the room is we drop a ball and an interception happens. But I want to go ahead and highlight this play, show you how it was successful in its design. We just didn't execute. University of Miami are motioning their tight end. Somebody ran with the tight end. So there's a good index of suspicion. You're in that man coverage again, and you have a single high safety. So once again, man one, single high, and you're trying to attack the seam. So that's what we're trying to do. Now I want to go ahead and look at Malachi Tony because I want to point something out. Malachi Tony's going to run a particular route. Now, against zone coverage, I'm going to take a stab at this. Against zone coverage, you kind of teach the wide receiver to kind of get into the zone as quick as you can, sit and find like that area, okay? That's not what Malachi Tony does here. Pay attention how he runs this route. He's going to stair step it. He's going to go up. He's going to get into the body, into like the chest of that DB, and then he gets that in. That's what creates that little separation right there at the end. So that's another way you can kind of see that that route was adjusted based on the coverage that he had. And I'm going to say that he knew his man coverage too. Now, we talked about that seam ball. We're going to go ahead and back this up. Man one, this is the coverage. Carson Beck, again, does a good job. Head is right down the middle of the field. He knows what's open. He throws the ball. He's just got to catch the ball. You just got to catch the ball. University of Miami Hurricanes defense is going to bust the coverage, and SMU is going to capitalize. They're in a max protection look, play action, essentially going to keep the running back and the tight end to block. And I think what happens here too, just one of the little details, the devil's always in the details, right? It's just the depth right here by wide receiver one here to the boundary side. Because I'm going to say safety in DB1 on this side, really, that's where it kind of fails because the way that the linebacker comes out and just patrols flat, he's in zone coverage, okay? He's in zone coverage. Now, what happens here in zone coverage, he's going to go here, and now he's responsible for the flat. Now, if the wide receiver one, and he's still pictured here, and I want to go ahead and see, if he sits now, if he sits a little bit sooner, then this linebacker, right, understands it. He's going to go ahead and go to the flat. That's what means curl flat. So he's a curl flat defender. He's obviously in zone coverage. You see linebacker in zone coverage. You see linebacker in zone coverage. And they're pretty consistent across the board. So this is why my high index of suspicion is it's lost in the back end safety in DB1. So, but because the wide receiver one takes the DB with him further enough downfield and he doesn't break off, so he's maintaining that a little bit, still with him, because if he broke off, now you have DB1 jump over to DB2. So between that and the safety just kind of losing sight, you're just, this is a busted coverage all day. Okay? So somewhere between DB1 and the safety on that side, but I will give credit. That wide receiver one and then the design and the depth kept him at bay so he couldn't float off the coverage. Using our run identification key, we see the offensive line moving horizontally, so we know this is zone blocking in the zone blocking family. You do have somebody coming back across the formation, so we'll call this a split zone. And you're using some orbit motion behind this and running an outside zone. This ball actually is going to bounce outside, so here you go, bounces outside. Good gain by the University of Miami Hurricanes. Now, outside zone plays can redirect inside. Running back's going to read it, but this one kind of stayed outside. I guess it is possible. When you don't run an up-tempo style offense and you rely on your ground game to net you that time of possession battle, every red zone trip matters. So when Malachi Tony brings you down to touchdown's doorstep after a successful punt return, University of Miami unsuccessfully able to convert that into a touchdown. So when you look at the snap of the ball, you're going to see Carson Beck's head immediately look field side. When it does that, you're going to see a linebacker float. Now, there's another reason why he's floating, because he knows where the University of Miami's dangerous pass-catching option is, and it's Malachi Toney, the true freshman. So you're going to see right here, there's a perfectly set bracket here down to the field side. So Carson Beck astutely comes off that initial read, and now he's looking topside. This is the route concept. This is what was called. Now you're going to see one tight end, Elijah Lofton, just sit. Tight end at the top of the screen is covered. So SMU, check, they win. They win that rep. Now, the design of the play, okay, was it a bag play? No, not necessarily. That was the play that was called. SMU just made sure they took away your top pass-catching element. University of Miami successfully going to hit this pin and pull gap style run from under center, and are utilizing the threat of Malachi Toney coming across the formation, which garners attention to the defense. You're going to see right here, here's the pin element to it right here. You're going to see that the left guard is going to go ahead and get that zero tech. They dominate that nose tackle. Then you're going to see that one puller coming around, acting as a lead blocker. And then there you go, successfully hit that up the field. Little wiggle at the end of it. So successful run by the University of Miami under center. Miami back in its 12-set jumbo look, 2 extra inserted offensive linemen. Remember the last time they were in this look, they converted a first down. Initially was stopped when the linebacker hit it, but then they were able to push through. Well, they come back in this look only to set up a play action later on. So this was a good setup play by the University of Miami, and they're picking on this linebacker right here. Pay attention to him, because when Carson Beck reverses out right here, the threat of an actual handoff sucks him up one step. That's all that was needed. Tight end is just going to go ahead. You have a high-low read. Linebacker got caught in a cookie jar, and bang. Good play. Every film stands on its 2 feet, but up to this point, I feel the University of Miami could have done what it wanted in its passing game, and I'm going to go ahead and highlight it for several reasons. Because when you see little things reoccurring from clip to clip, right here, even at the bottom of the screen, right? SMU, they're in man 2, so everybody's running man coverage, and then they have 2 safeties patrolling over the top. So at the bottom of the screen, does he win his rep? Let's see. Let's see if he wins his rep at the bottom of the screen. Yeah, he's already got separation, so he's already leaving. Now, advantage number 2, offensive line. Okay, you're in man 2, so you got 2 safeties in the back, so you should have the advantage up front. Is this offensive line going ahead? And yeah, Carson Beck's got all the time in the world. So then let's look at the route at the top of the screen. Pretty creative against this man 2. You're going to have Malachi Toney do a Z out, and then the rest is going to be a dagger concept. And what do I mean by a dagger concept? Somebody's going to go vertical, somebody's taking a dig underneath, and that's Marion on the dig. And does he create separation too from his wide receiver in the man coverage? I mean, look at the separation in man. So you're getting the separation in man coverage that you want from SMU. Maybe you just didn't take advantage of it enough. University of Miami is in SMU territory, and they're going to get stuffed on 3rd and 3 when they try to take this run interior. And it's a little unfortunate, too, because at the point of attack, this was kind of a double team initially, and you're just going to have one SMU defender split the double team. And I also think right here, too, you have a hole right here. I think you could have bounced that, got in. It would have probably been a big play. We don't read it. Again, we try to cut upfield inside. You saw that double team get split. One offensive lineman's now disengaged. And next you know, execution, don't have that. It's now a 4th and must-have opportunity. And let's see what the University of Miami does then. This play screams that when the University of Miami has to have it, they're going to run inside. And you know who knows it? The SMU defense knows it, because on this 4th and 1 opportunity, they have 9 men in the box. They only have 2 DBs in coverage, and it's man coverage with no safety help, because when Malachi Toney runs across the formation, you see a DB running step for step, so man coverage. Now here's the other thing too. They know where you like to run the ball, because these 9 defenders, well, they're crashing. You have the defensive line that's going to basically do a little slant, and they're going to go ahead and try to break up those A-gaps, and then you also have everybody else just collapsing and just watch it unfold, okay? You think they know where they're going with the ball? University of Miami tried to do their pin and pull, gets blown up. Perfect defensive call in that situation. Nowhere for the running back to go. SMU wins that one too. 3rd and 1 again, University of Miami in that 12-set jumbo look again, and they're going to try to run inside again. So the diversification portfolio, I don't know. And you essentially see all of SMU's defense and their whole stance in the box, in the frame. They're just going to go ahead and snuff this out. It's going to be one at the bottom of the screen. You're asking your tight end to come across the formation. Kind of a gap style run. Everybody else is going forward. So he's coming across, loses it. Okay. And then there you're going to go get swallowed up into the backfield. So I don't know what to tell you. After an inside run, the University of Miami get 3 yards on first down. So now it's 2nd and 7. And this play is a little upsetting because you're going to go ahead and try to hit this screen at the top of the screen. It really doesn't have a chance in terms of design because you're going to see this. There's Malachi Toney. He's going to go ahead and block DB1 on his side, just leaves his guy unblocked, unchecked. So the design of it, okay, just go over to DB1 and DB2. Well, he has a dinner belt and he's just going to go ahead, swallow this up. It's not there. That play is not there. But why it was upsetting to me, because if you go back and you look at this play, there's something missing. There is 0 safeties right now. They're in a cover 0 look. They are challenging you. You have one-on-one across the board, and you don't check out of this, and you run a play, that's never going to work. Lost in this video this week, defense is playing phenomenally well. They're keeping the SMU running game at bay. SMU's in a situation where they got to go ahead and try to pass. But Keontae Scott, he's going to come in, and when you have somebody from that level just kind of abuse the running back, just pay attention to him because he's going to go ahead and blitz right there in between the guard and tackle and just wins clean against the running back. Quarterback has no chance. He's the initial guy to the party. Ruben Bain swallows that up. So, sack for your University of Miami Hurricanes. And this is going to be the final clip of the evening. And when you have to have it, it's 3rd and 6 in overtime. You come out with a 3-by-1 look. And honestly, everything's covered. So, let's see exactly how SMU does it. You're going to see right here, this is DB3, DB2, and DB1. So they're going to have a pass-off. DB3 is going to go over to wide receiver 2, and DB2 is going to go over to wide receiver 1. And when they do that, DB3 and DB1, they bracket Malachi Toney because they know he's a pretty potential big threat for them. So there you go. Passes it off. He's still at the bottom of the screen. He sets the bracket. So now you have a 2-on-1 versus Malachi Toney. And if you're looking, everything's covered. Now, I do want to say, and I would be remiss because if you saw this on the telecast too, he's going to end up getting tackled. So not only is this illegal contact downfield, this is egregious. I know. Listen, there's missed calls on everything, and Miami didn't play a clean game. And SMU, all the credit in the world to you. But this was egregious. This wasn't incidental. He runs over, hits him contact, and would eventually tackle him right in front of the ref. So I have to say that, okay, because I'm just watching. But SMU sets the perfect coverage otherwise, and then next thing you know, everything's there, looking, scanning, and then just a bad ball late instead of throwing that maybe, it's still going to be an interception grade red, especially in this situation, but design grade, it's not a bag play, really not helping your quarterback out there either. A lot of fault to go around this week. For the last time, I'm your boy Ro, OG member of the Orange Bowl Boys. Stay safe, my friends, and as always, bang.